what would be an advice for someone that wants to start a business like you did?
Be prepared on a hardship. You will be knocked out probably 100 times. It depends how many times you're going to get up from it and go back, in that ring and box it out until you're not going to come up to the surface, because persistence, resilience, and that type of a mindset is the key for success for anybody. It's not just in a business, it's pretty much every achievement in your life. If you do not, go all the way, you're not going to succeed.
Hi guys, we are back on the shop, and today our guest is Sergej. He has more than 20 years of experience in the electric vehicle sector. He's the CEO and co-founder of Q-Charge. They provide EV charging solutions, and Sergej is a firm believer in EV. Let's figure out why.
Electric vehicles are revolutionizing transportation, and with millions hitting the road every year, the demand for reliable charging infrastructure is booming. By investing in Q-Charge, you're not just joining the green revolution, you're tapping into a market projected to exceed $150 billion by 2030. Our cutting-edge technology, seamless user experiences, and scalable solutions set us apart in the evolving EV market. We're committed to sustainability, integrating renewable energy to make charging convenient and eco-friendly. Backed by a proven track record, highly skilled, experienced operations and technical team, we're building more than just charging stations. We're creating the backbone of a greener economy. Invest in Q-Charge and align with a leader in innovation. Together, we'll power a smarter, cleaner future. Don't just watch the future unfold, help shape it. Invest in EV charging today and drive the change.
Hello Sergej, how are you?
Hi, Maxime. Pleasure to have me in your show.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for being with us. So first, I'd like to start with a little bit of background. Who is Sergej, and why do you like so much EV?
Well, I'm a Serbian heritage person who came in this country, United States, about 25 years ago. I was still at the time studying and finishing my mechanical engineering. I finally finalized in 2003, when I had kind of a little bit of a break between my work and life in United States and finalizing my education. And I finally came back in 2023 in January. In 2003 in January, back to United States. And then I started mainly working with a general construction company, which kind of led to my passion, which is electricity. I was all my life passionate about electricity, reading books about Nikola Tesla. I was also in a school as a hobbyist, building the wireless, cars, drone. Not well at the time, not drones, but helicopters, planes, and stuff like that. Like even wireless remote controlled mini boats. And I went to the competition, so I've always had a passion about electricity and electric cars. And as we discussed earlier today, I told you, right, when I was even a kid, when I had my own wireless car, electrical car, small, tiny one with electro motors, and I all the time swapping them, changing them. My father was mechanical engineer, and I asked him, why we just don't build something like this, big, and have our own car, right? I mean, why do I need to go and buy it if I can make it? So somehow that passion towards electricity just itself led me to be into the electrical contracting world. So I was myself electrician. It was very difficult in the beginning when I came to United States without English and nostrification of diploma and stuff like that. So it was a very hard time. So I kind of just say, okay, let me be in the trade. It was the easiest and the fastest path. And also, it doesn't matter. It led to my success regardless, because I opened several companies in the past. I sold those companies. Now I have a couple of new that I'm running, including being the founder of a Q-Charge and being in the electrical sector of electrification of United States.
Okay, so you are a serial entrepreneur, actually. Where does it come from, this passion of creating? What's the mindset behind being an entrepreneur?
Ooh, a good question. I don't even know how to answer that one. I mean, it's just my mindset. I've been all my life intrigued by the technology. Since kid, I've been watching all the sci-fi movies and animations of the robots and stuff like that, right? So that kind of led to the passion to the technology and our humanity advancement, let's say, in progress into the technological world. So I was always curious. You just always wanted to know, how does this work? How that work? How does it mechanical parts are assembled together, and then so on and so forth. So I found myself being passionate that I want to create something, and not just being like a regular worker. That can be anybody. I always thought that I want to leave some footprint behind me in a certain realm of my entrepreneurship or my mindset, and some of my innovations that I've done, and some of the patents that I'm also holding. It was just basically, I don't know. I mean, just the passion to give something back to the humanity. I mean, to our society. I was always wanted to be that guy. I don't know. It's kind of a very difficult question to answer, to be honest with you.
To leave a
Hard to
legacy,
define.
right? You want to leave your footprint on EV.
Correct. Well, it's not only the EV, because that's just one of the part. My passion, like I said, it's the entire energy sector, right? It doesn't matter, is that like a green energy, or let's say even the pollutant energy. Unfortunately, we have some places that green energy does not has that type of impact as it would have a pollutant energy, right? But we are heavily going and moving away from it globally.
So to summarize, stay curious, stay a kid, or keep the kid's mindset, and always learning something.
Yes, I would say that for sure. When you find your passion, don't let it die. I mean, I'm a dreamer. Like all my life, even right now, I'm 51. I'm still a dreamer as I was like 15. Like I wanted to dream big, dream some new things, something that we still see on the movies, right? To these days, right? I mean, teleportation, right?
Yes.
Does it exist? It doesn't exist, but it will exist in the future. That's at least my belief, that everything is possible in our life. Is just the time and determination. That's all.
Okay. Okay. Fair point. So now let's dive into maybe the market or the trend. How do you see for your company, for your startup right now? How do you see the market? How is the business?
Currently, well, as we know, the whole economy in the United States is not, roses right now. It's a roller coaster. Today it's good, tomorrow it's bad. You don't know in what position you are. Kind of similar as I would say our administration, right? Today it's this, tomorrow it's something else. So in general, it's also the way it's with this market, right? There is a lot of skepticism behind it. There is a lot of negative lobbying behind it. We don't have yet any standardization and standard rules. It's still, in a way, kind of guessing. And I mean, market is there, interest is there. It is non-stopping train. We will eventually fully transition to the alternative transportation, which is not going to be any more gasoline and diesel. It's just a matter of the time. I know every transition and every progress in our humanity took time. It took toll. It took bashing, hardship until it didn't surface and shine. So we will definitely be. It doesn't matter. Today, it's like say market. It's not ideal. It's not best, and that's why I think it's also raising a lot of eyebrows and skepticism. Will this succeed? How this is going to go and how this will be? Well, the problem is, well, everybody are going to be guessing. There is going to be a few that they're not going to guess. They're going to do it, and they're going to prepare themselves for the future. Which another thing that we discussed earlier, when I said our famous hockey player Gretzky said, "Don't skate where the pack is, skate where the pack will be." That means also in your life, right? Don't concentrate what is today, what market is today, where you are today with your achievements, but where you will be tomorrow, what will be tomorrow. The best, prepare yourself and position yourself as best as you can. I mean, that's also what I'm trying to do with our company. I am big visionary of the future, and I'm trying to predict some future in a way we will develop and we will go. So far in my life, I was relatively accurate, I would say. Like I would probably miss some couple of the years, but as far for the developments based on the general consumers and demand of the publicity, what they want to have, what they would like to see, in which way they would like to structure their livelihood, that's basically driven by them. And when it's something on a demand, people will find a solution, and they will find a way to kind of capitalize on it.
Okay, okay. So would you have an example related to your business, as you said, like a challenge or something you are struggling with right now related to the market? Have you been impacted by tariff yet? Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel? How is it right now?
Well, look, I mean, yeah, I mean, everybody are impacted by tariffs. It's not only our industry; it's the entire world is right now in a mess with the tariff and the tariff warfare. How it's going to end, we don't know. I mean, it's just a matter how flexible or you as a company, as an entity, how fast you can actually restructure or adapt, like a change and follow the new rules or whatever the demand is out there, right? So far, like I said, I'm not impacted by it. We are prepared and we are strategically in the background trying to ensure that our supply chain and our pricing will not impact our end users and clients, because we are trying to guarantee, the most competitive pricing and the most lowest cost in the market here in the United States. And so far, we were able to achieve that. But like I said, the biggest struggle for us in this industry, right, in electrification and let's say charging stations and energy sector, it's a broad paperwork and vast red tape that we have to go through. There is too many entities. I already said it on several shows myself in the past. And unfortunately, that will not go away. That will be always the biggest struggle for the progress in the United States, and it's our bureaucracy.
You mean, yeah, do you mean administrative, right? All those roadblocks, you have to comply, all those regulations. Don't you see any lightening on these regulations? Is it getting worse?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I hope for some type of, let's say, standardization, let's say maybe faster, more streamlining process of getting the permits and approvals of implementation of this stuff. But again, the problem is the manpower, right? Even when you go to the officials, like in a city halls or cities for obtaining the permits and their engineering departments, or let's say utility departments, the problem is they don't have enough of manpower. I mean, can you imagine if you have, let's say, one department in Los Angeles in a valley, and they have maybe five electrical engineers assigned for the entire valley, and then you have 10,000 or applications, because there's going to be only our applications of the charging stations, but it's going to be also residential upgrade of the systems, commercial, industrial, hospitals. So there is plenty of applications that they have to go through before they're going to come to you, and it's always first comes first. There is a queue and there is like timelines that you have to wait. If we would be able somehow to overcome that, at least an easier streamline of process of plan reviewing, engineering, issuing the permits, it would be easier and faster for everybody, right? And also the last part, I would say, it's the financial, right? This is a very heavily capital intensive business, right? The sales cycles are very long, so it doesn't happen overnight. This is not like a regular EV, let's say, sale of a car, right? I'm going to sell it within a week or 2 or 3 or a month, and you know that you're going to make some profit, and you can move your product through the company and buy, sell, buy, sell. In this industry, it's also like I said, paperwork, right? And then it's also implementation, finding the people that they're going to install that. Then you have to find the procurement of different type of electrical materials before everything clicks in. It usually takes several months to even over a year before one project is finalized, from the beginning to the end, from start of negotiation of the property owners with the cities and officials, our in-house engineering, or finding the people, procurement, getting all the materials. So it is a process. And that was, I would say, big hurdle for a lot of companies and startups, because yes, they started in this industry, they ventured in, they had capital, but the problem, they had a high burn rate on a monthly basis, because they had a lot of let's say, big offices, warehouse, their personnel and employees and everything else that you have to kind of like have personnel, and that costs you money on a monthly basis regardless you made the sale or not. And that way means that you have to have a long time to sustain yourself as a company before you're going to actually see any profit and a light on the end of the day, as you say.
Yes. No, definitely. It's capex intensive and a lot of overhead before you make the sale, and you get this recurring income. Okay, but it's actually a good transition. Maybe you can tell us about your product. Like, what do? You do EV charging, but charging is much broader than what we think.
Well, yeah, I mean, charging stations, how it's actually started with this all. Since I've been an electrical contractor for about over 22 years right now. Out of that 22 years, about 15 years I've been in the green sector right now. Uh, about 10 years in the EV industry, I kind of dedicated my time to the charging stations and infrastructure and everything that goes with it, right? With an alternative energy sources. If we want to be completely, and if we want to preach sustainability, then we have to start finding also the alternative resources, such as, like, say, solar or clean energy generators and different type of energy resource, right? That we can support this type of growth and energy demand, because we are not only see the point is we're not the biggest consumers of the energy. It's the data centers and the crypto miners. They are actually the consumer, the 24/7 energy. When it comes to the charging stations, it's basically you consume the energy at the point of the charge, right? So then you always in a day you have a gaps when nothing is happening, so their facilities are empty or not in a use.
Q-Charge Level 2. AC chargers deliver faster charging for your EV with eco-friendly innovation. Scalable, reliable, and renewable energy integrated, our stations are shaping the backbone of green mobility. Join the revolution. Partner with Q-Charge and drive toward a sustainable tomorrow.
So how it led actually to this is I helped two companies in California to build their EV departments before I moved from California to Texas in Dallas, and then I started my own company. Initially it was planned to just do the installing company for providing the installation for the people that they don't know how to. But I met my partner. We went to investment and we kind of expanded in a little bit of a broader business, which it led to creation of a software, because the software is the main key and a brain of operations of all this equipment, right? But it's not only the software, it's also the combination between the software and elements that they go to your hardware with their firmwares. So all that stuff has to kind of work together in a perfect symbiosis and communication of the protocols that they have in between themselves. And if that doesn't work properly, it will eventually start malfunctioning, which we saw that a lot of charging stations, unfortunately, they don't work during a variety of different reasons, right? But one of the reasons it's still the main is the software, because the communication of the software, in the software, for example, if it loses the connectivity with the server, the charging stations will stop working. So we solved first the problem with on the software side. Simultaneously, we were working on the hardware, because hardware is not that complicated because you don't have to do everything from the scratch. The hardware already exists. It's kind of like an off shell. What we've done, we took some product off shell and we upgraded it. So we modified it, we made it better. We changed some of the internal elements by our engineering, what we wanted to see, what we wanted to use, so that we can guarantee that our charging stations have better build out internally and support with the software and support with the firmware. And not only that, what we also added, which I do have a patent pending application already for United States, is that we added also the AI cameras to the charging stations, which it has a multiple function. One of them is a safety and security, and the second part is of activation of the charging stations by the facial recognition and a license plate recognition. But that's by the clients who in our database will opt for that solution. They can opt, basically kind of bypasses one of those server software certifications that we have right now. Standard certification that just to kind of elaborate and clarify this one. So standard certification that majority charging stations it's called OCPP 1.6. Now a lot of charging stations and companies are trying to go to the next level, which is OCPP 2.0.1, before they're going to transition to OCPP 2.1, which means the transition right now in between them is that the charging station starts communicating with the vehicle, so that you can basically just take the charger, plug it. The vehicle is going to take over the communication with the charger, recognize it. The whole information that you store of you as an account holder will be in a vehicle, and then the vehicle will activate the charging session for you, and everything goes over there automatically. So, and that's basically controlled by the OCPP, which is a communication protocol integrated by the software and BMS on board of the vehicle. To bypass that 2.01 and go straight to the 2.1, we've done that with an AI camera. So the AI camera basically does that everything. Instead of communicating with your vehicle, it communicates with you as a person, right? It's with your facial recognition will connect you with the database and will activate the charger in the same way. All you do is just plug and play. So that's kind of very similar way that we kind of accomplish that without actually a vast software need to develop. We just basically used an AI camera for that part. And then also what we've done, it's a fire suppression system. So our charging stations are the only one in the world having fire suppression systems in it, which I came to that idea because we saw a lot on the news, the building or apartment or caught on a fire because of the charging. They charged a bicycle, motorcycle, and majority of those fires that you're going to see, it's basically happened through those chargers. It didn't happen through the vehicle chargers. However, everybody start being afraid and skeptical. What if the vehicle charger is going to get on a fire? Then what's going to happen? So the reason because of that, I started thinking, what if we then implement a charging station to have a fire suppression system? If anything happens electrically with them or caught on a fire, at least the charger will be extinguished, and it will prevent, you know, bigger building damages or property damages or even life loss, right?
Yes.
So we wanted to make sure that we can provide that as well, and we do. So our charging stations come with that. And final integration we've done, it's with the POS devices, which is a credit card payment processors that we integrated with our hardware firmware and also with our OCPP communication with the firmware of the POS and the hardware, as there are three, let's say, three softwares keyed together to deliver what is need to be as a final product, right? Which majority companies don't have that. Majority companies, they have one firmware it's on a hardware, one firmware it's on a POS, and they have their own software, and they are all in a certain way try to communicate through one server, but not internally between themselves. So we accomplish that.
Wow. So it's a lot to impact actually. So you mentioned that you have this, is it like a two-factor verification, like with this camera ID, and you become the official ID for the charging station, like you as a
Correct.
human? Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
So your
Okay.
face basically, right? So
Yes.
your face becomes, I mean, let's put it this way. Anywhere these days you go, there's cameras everywhere.
Yes.
Even people are not even aware that they're all the time being recorded wherever you go. Specifically right now, because we go to the more and more of a use of an AI. So everything on the airports, public locations, streets, everything else, it's basically you are anyway monitored. So the charging stations are now anything different because they are in a public sector. So you do have capabilities that you can put what do you call some type of a cameras or even AI cameras, because like I said, it's for us to prevent any type of a vandalism, theft, damages to the charging stations, to have the first responder right away in a real time to track it and identify such a behavior and give us a flag or alert to our platform, which then comes to our monitor people to their cell phones or their computer monitoring through the platform. And then again, I said, as your face, right? Everybody has a unique face. So when you approach the charger, if you opt, so that's what I'm saying. Not everybody are okay with that, but some people that they're gonna say, you know what, I don't care. Anyway, I'm in the system. It's just my face. I'm just coming over here to charge activate the charger. I'm getting out of the vehicle. I'm approaching to the charger to get the gun, right? The whole. But by that time, I'm getting the gun. My charger is already active. So why
Wow.
not?
Okay. No,
And the
that's nice.
next step, what we're all trying right now to develop, it's also the wireless technology, because that's the future. I believe it will be in the wireless charging ports.
Wow. So like a phone, you could like wireless charge your car in the
That
future.
already exists. It's
Okay.
not unknown technology. I mean, let's put it this way: your car, it's nothing else than the cell phone on the wheels. It's just big battery, big interface, and you have just wheels that you can turn. That's all. So why would be then anything different that you can with an induction plate in your phone charge your phone, or with an induction plate on your vehicle to charge your vehicle? So that's not like, let's say, kind of like big technology that you have to develop and work on it. It's just a matter of, like everything that we as kind of like a consumer society, on every 2 years they will give you something new. So how long is going to take us, or how many years is going to take us, that they're going to give you wireless technology that is going to be implemented on the vehicles, and then again then implemented and retrofitted to the charging stations? We don't know, but I am preparing our charging stations to be easily retrofitted down the line in the future to the wireless technology, and also that our induction plates can be universal induction plates, so that you can also outdated vehicles, that they can be retrofitted with that. So you're going to have both options to be charging on the plug or charging wirelessly.
Okay. Interesting. It brings one question to my mind. What's your opinion about those battery that you can interchange into the vehicle? You know, those one you just unload and reload. What's your take on this one?
Who's going to do that? You need to have a robot hand or some type of, let's say, station, and the vehicle itself has to be built that way that you can exchange the battery. So what's going to open? That's going to open, and then again another, let's say, warfare of technology, right? Which connector of that type of a battery is going to be good? Is it going to be on a top corner or on a bottom corner? or is it going to be C connection, or is it going to be type USB connection, or whatever? Is going to be the competition again into that market, right? We right now barely come to the standards, and we're still not there fully, but barely we come with these connectors and minimize from 13 connectors to only 3 connectors actually right now in United States. But ideally should be only one connector, right? One connector for everything. When is gonna that happen? We don't know. How it's gonna be happening? We don't know. There is still like a lot of technological advancement that is happening on a daily basis. And to be honest with you, 1 week, if I don't follow up what's going on, I'm already behind it.
Wow. Are you afraid of China and, for example, the BYD and all the solutions that they propose? Or is it a good thing?
Well, look, I mean, most of these technology comes out of the China regardless. I mean, who is going to say that comes the charging station, it doesn't come from China? It's basically lying, like, or not disclosing entire thing. Because even when you say, let's say 80% of the product that comes from China, and your 20% that you're going to need to do something locally here or locally in UE or anywhere else, right? That doesn't mean that your product is yours, right? It's still Chinese. Even Elon Musk, Tesla cars are, I think, the 30% of the parts is coming from China, so it doesn't matter. And we call that American made car because it's assembled here. But I'm not afraid of China for one reason. First of all, even if the China comes over here and try to penetrate the market, is going to have a hard time currently with the current administration and everything that Trump is opposing. So we will see. We don't know. I mean, Trump is not going to be, like forever president. So somebody's going to replace him. What's going to happen at that time, we don't know. But until that happens, we still have some type of a protection against the China not to kind of penetrate our market that easily as they're doing that in the rest of the world. I mean, just look like, for example, European Union is completely out to industry. It's getting slammed in a financial hurdle because of the cheap Chinese electric
Yes.
vehicles that they overflow the market. But the problem is so now the people that they would like to have electric cars, and even if it's a Chinese, there is not enough of electricity. So a lot of people, when they buy cars, electrical, they run it for a while and then sell it or return it, or they change it back to the gasoline because they get frustrated because of not having infrastructure. Now, not everywhere is that. Major cities, they are better and more equipped with infrastructure and electricity being more available, and specifically because they do have also a lot of public charging stations, to support that adoption of the EVs, right? But not everywhere is that happening. Even here in the United States, we have only 11 states out of 50 that they are kind of adopting EVs. Rest of the states are not, and that's kind of like what I would say as far for the Chinese, because look, they're not. It's not only Chinese people that they are coming. You have also Taiwanese, you have Koreans, but majority of the technology is coming from China. I mean, from Asia.
But that's a good point you just mentioned, because developing a car takes between 3 and 5 years. But developing the infrastructure in a city or at a country level, how much does that take? Like 10 plus years?
Well, it depends of the size of the infrastructure, or let's say the station that we have to do. That's why I said. I mean, problem is officials are moving very slow because they have a different type of a set of rules. They have to follow every single law to the teeth, from the OSHA to the safety regulations, hazard regulations. So they have even more regulations than we do as a small business owners, right? We do have to follow, of course, their own internal laws and mandates by everybody. But then again, it takes a very long time to do any type of infrastructure.
So now, Sergey, what's the next step for Q-Charge? What's the next important milestone in the next 6 months, let's say?
Beat the Tesla. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, he's too big. Well, look, I don't. I mean, look. I hope that we will definitely expand on the networking and expand our own. We are moving in a slow pace. The reason is what I said. It's very high capital intensive industry. The overheads are very big and large, so we need to be very strategic how we deploy our financials. And allocate our funds in a proper way, that our growth, it's steady and it's sustainable, so that we're not going to go too fast in something and then we're going to then start losing the money, or the business is not going to be profitable as we thought, or let's say that location is not going to be profitable and then we locked our money or locked our financials. So we are going in a very a slow pace on that one. But I hope that our right now supercharging center that we are in a final stage of building it. We already built more than 50% in North Hollywood in California, in Los Angeles, which is going to have 16 charging stations, level 3. Out of them, 6 of them, they're going to be hypercharged on a 360 kilowatt, and 10 of them is going to be 180 kilowatt, which majority of the vehicles today, they cannot even accept that much of a power. There are a couple of the high consumer vehicles and the batteries, high capacity batteries vehicles, but not that many. And then once we're going to open that super center in LA, that will open up the door because for other investors and investments and capital raise that we are looking for and searching that we can then expand to the similar models that we're right now building in LA. We would like to build that nationwide with 50, 25 location in the next maybe I would say maybe 4 to 5 years, and if it's possible up to 50 location, depends of the capital, depends of the investments.
Okay. When is it planned to go live? You mentioned 50% is achieved right now.
Yeah, we are hoping by end of this year, beginning of the next one, the first, I would say by January, we should be alive with that first location. And the second location should be already in February, which it's here in Texas that we're doing it. Sorry, is it in Texas? No, sorry, New Mexico, Albuquerque. There should be another showcasing station that is going to be attached next to the data center.
Sounds good. So do you want to leave a message for any investor, maybe? You are looking for capital right now. Where can we find you if we want to work with you?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty easy to find, right? I'm very, very vocal about this industry. I'm having also my own podcast, my website as well, right? They can easily find us on a qcharge123.com. And all the informations are right there from our products, how they can actually with a webmail contact us with the phone numbers, emails, any type of a way that they can obtain also type of information regarding what we can offer and what our services are. And there is also a small page that we have also for the investors that they can come and see what type of investments are potentially right now in a play. After that, it's very simple, right? With the phone calls when they reach out to us, we usually set up the meetings. Everything goes through the emails, and then we go from there.
Okay. Fair enough, Sergej. One last comment, one last note. What would be an advice for someone that wants to start a business like you did?
Be prepared on a hardship. You will be knocked out probably 100 times. It depends how many times you're going to get up from it and go back, in that ring and box it out until you're not going to come up to the surface, because persistence, resilience, and that type of a mindset is the key for success for anybody. It's not just in the business, it's pretty much every achievement in your life. If you do not, go all the way, you're not going to succeed.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sergej. Thank you for being with us today. Much
Thank you for
appreciated.
having me.
No problem. All right, guys. This is the end of our podcast. See you around.